Hey y'all, welcome to part 5 of the Oliver Tractor collection tour videos, and this is the 3 digits. There's going to be 6 tractors in this one, and we're not going to start with this one. Here's a 1960 question mark 440. It is got 3 different colors on it. So that one is painted wrong. That one should look like this more, yellow grill. And then this one should have the white wheels, because it is, well, we got this at the auction we were at last summer. It's Oliver 440 1960. It's just stamped in the serial number. That's a reproduction plate. Must have been missing the original serial number plate. So the actual serial number is going to be pretty hard to, you ain't going to find it, but we can probably get a ballpark of it if it was built in 60 or 62 maybe. Some of the differences on these, see this bracket right here for the fuel tank? It's triangular on the 440. It's rectangular on the Super 44. See, it ain't cut out like that. And the brakes, see how this is straight here, so your brake hits that when it's straight. On the 440, they cut that out for more travel. See that here? It's cut out, even here. So those are some telltale signs that it's a 440. I don't know why, but it's pretty strip model. It don't even have 3-point. I don't know if the guy took it off or if he bought it this way. I haven't seen a lot more of them like this. I don't know why. But you can run your PTO or belt pulley with it. We might have to find some numbers on the engine and try and get a year. Because we have F400A 4220. And a 3. And here we have F400A 4220 dash. So they're different there. What I'm looking at too is I thought the mufflers were the same, but they're not apparently. This one, the muffler is on this side, and it comes up and over and out. And on this one, it goes straight up. Was that a change they made on them? I don't really know. I'd have to look that up. Alright, so just doing a Google search for 440s, trying to see that muffler location. There are some on here that have the muffler on the side of the manifold. The brochures don't show that. So I'm thinking that that's more of like a farmer conversion, where it just made it easier to go right straight up. But I don't really know for sure. So let me know in the comments if you know if that was something that they changed at some point. A lot of our stuff needs work. A lot of our stuff just bought in intentions of getting to it. Some of it was just saving from the scrapyard. Like this one here, that one probably would have made it to the scrapyard had we not bought it. 440 was built in 1960 and 62, 140 cubic inch, 25 PTO horsepower, same as the Super 44. Built at the Charles City plant due to South Bend Plant 2 being closed, and sold in 58. Had a reinforced frame, which is also on late Super 44s. And only 700 were built, 500 in 1960 and 200 in 1962. So maybe someday I'll figure out what this one actually is. I was just looking at, they say the frames are reinforced. I was looking at that there's a gusset or here, there's a gusset up here on the Super 44. And I don't see anything different visually yet between the two. I'd have to have an early 44 probably to see changes. Maybe these were added after running change. I don't know. I don't know where exactly the gussets and stuff were. So maybe that's a, oh, that was a 58. So this 44 serial number is 1688400. So it's a 58 model, but it is within the last 100. Last one's 1775. It's like 87 from the last one built. So it probably has the frame updates on it. I'd have to see an early one to know what they really changed. But I have a feeling that some of this stuff like this is probably some of the stuff they did. That's what I'm thinking. This one's actually more of the original steering tie rods. It's supposed to have one little one here and then a long one. This one here is not original. I don't know what they got going on here. They should be running this here and then one going all the way across to a double. I'm not really sure on this. As far as I know, they didn't make them like this, but it is what it is, huh? Sometimes when you have a more rare model, you don't have options to get parts and stuff, so you have to do what you can to make it work. All right, here's a little 550. It is an early 1961. As you know, 550s had the horizontal grill styling like the 770s, the early 770s. 660 never got the different styling. This is the 61, so it won't have the egg crate grill yet. This one's original. As original as can be. 550 was built between 1958 and 1975, so a long run, 155 cubic inch. Sharing the engine with the 660, putting out about 41.39 horse on the gas. This is the gas. In 1963, they got the fiberglass grille. Later on, they got safety interlock on the. There was tons of changes on these too. This one, what did we do? We had to go into the steering box, was screwed up. We fixed that. Otherwise, it's a pretty good machine. We use it a lot. We just keep the tiller on it and till away. It's pretty handy for that. You can see it's got key start. There's the gauges. So you got fuel temp, tack. This one's missing the plate. They put the key up here. I don't know why. This one here is a 1959 model. Very similar to that. It's missing the plate here. This had a loader on it, still kind of does. But it had a trip loader, so it wasn't very handy at all. What kind of loader? Superior loader? We should really take the rest of this off and so we can use it more, but the wheels are getting pretty ripe, so I should get new wheels. As I'll show you. They're getting pretty ripe. Other than that, we'd use it more if we had it fixed. This one too is pretty bad. This one was bought locally. This one was bought locally. And this one was Dumont Museum. This Super 55, that 57 was bought locally. So let's move on to this industrial. This is a 1966 550 industrial. I don't know if the serial number plate actually shows. Like, you have your regular serial number, then you have 3 digits after, and that's different than the other 550s. This is 019, and the other 550s are 519. So I don't know if that's an indication of industrial or not, but let's see. I believe that axles are non-adjustable on these. They're yellow, so this should be a yellow model. You can see it's got the fiberglass grille. This would have changed in '63 to the painted white plate with a Keystone logo. Decals changed. Power steering, looks like it's got it here off of the belt. So right here. So it's running that up on top to check it or add. So power steering on here. Looks like it definitely came at the loader because it's painted the same. I don't know exactly what's different on an industrial besides that. I think I'd have to really look. I think there's an article on them, but I don't think there's a whole lot of changes on them. Are they heavier duty? I don't know. One thing that's different on that 550 industrial, you see this front end here, how you got this bolted on to this, which pivots, so you can change the width of the front axle. And then this bolts right to here. Same on here. Same on here. This has got a block welded here, and it's non-adjustable. So it's just a solid axle. Maybe they found that stronger. It probably is. There might be other changes too, I'm sure there are. This was my grandpa's. He bought this at some point in time, and then my dad bought it after he passed away. And I think it had to have been a local buy because my grandpa wouldn't go very far. This is a hydraulic pump in the front, so you probably can move a lot of oil. The bucket's off just because it doesn't take as much room in the barn. Otherwise everything works on it. But we did not get it running before getting it out here for the tractor ride, because it was being a pain in the butt. We didn't have time. I think my uncle put this muffler on and probably rebuilt the seat. I rebuilt 2 of these seats. I did one on here, one on that 550 with the cheap rubbers, and yeah, they failed. They tore right here. So we're back to not having any spring. So get the American ones. That's what I would suggest. Pay a little bit more. Cause this one I rebuilt too, and then same thing happened. Let go right here. Yeah, it is a shame that you pay that much money and then it fails not long after. But live and learn, right? Okay, this is a 1961 Oliver 660. You can see it's got the newer decals on it. This came out of the Dumont Museum in Sigourney, Iowa, from Lyle Dumont. It was auctioned in, I don't know, 2017 or something, 2018, whenever it was. And nicely painted while it was in a museum, so it's a good runner. We had to do the clutch on it. When I first got it, the carb was leaking, so I had to rebuild the carb. And now that the clutch is done, she is an awesome tractor. Looks great and runs great. I want to say he probably went through the engine because it definitely don't smoke much. The 660s were built between 59 and 64. They came a year after the other 3-digit models came out. And as you know, the other 3-digit models would have had the other styling. They did not style this one differently. All they did was took the Super and changed it to white wheels and white grille, and this too, and put it red letters. And otherwise, it's a Super 66, but upgraded. You can see that the manifolds are quite a bit different on these. A lot different. At least the exhaust is bigger, air cleaner, stuff like that. I think the carb is bigger. There's a lot of changes on them. I'm not going to go over too many of them in here because that'd be a good video for comparing the three. Same engine as the 550, 155 cubic inch. This is the gas, so it'd be 41.39 horsepower. And this one's got hydraulics. You could get the hydroelectric on them, but they upgraded them, changed it later to levers because of the problems with the hydroelectric switches and stuff. Because they weren't sealed very good for weather. You can seal electronics for weather because look at they do it with nowadays with everything, 4-wheelers and whatnot. So this is a pretty cool model. Here's a 1965 Oliver 770. This one came from my grandpa. My grandpa owned this local Oliver dealer in Rio Creek, Wisconsin. They stayed an Oliver dealer for quite a while, probably about as long as what they could. And they went through this thing. They're the ones that painted it and went through it. So my grandpa bought it, and then I bought it from my grandma after my grandpa passed away. It's got the Ridermaster seat. It has a power booster on it. Flat top fenders, so they changed that in 64, I think. 770s are built between 58 and 67. So why 67? And when the other ones are already gone and replaced by the checkerboards and stuff. Because this is a popular model. They kept building it because people liked it. So what they did is they updated the styling to look like these. And consequently, they kept selling them. It'd be a 216 cubic inch engine. Gas put out 51.63 horsepower. So you got to figure the horsepower this is putting out was almost a 1550. 1550 would replace this eventually. Power booster drive was this lever here. You move that and it was kind of like where the hydropower is here. It would shift it. And power booster gave 32% more power and reduced speed by 24% when engaged. 1960 is when the Keystone logo was added to side panels, replacing the oval stamp. So the original ones would have an oval here. Then they went to the Keystone because 1960s when White bought them and started putting Keystone stuff on. Then late in 63 for the 64 model year, the fiberglass grille replaced the horizontal metal grille, flat top fenders, and plastic grille oval went to a flat painted plate with the Keystone decal. So this is actually wrong, but my uncle made this for my grandpa. I think it was a Christmas present. Back in the the scanner days and when the printers were not as what they are now. So I just leave it on there, but it originally would have a metal plate with a Keystone decal. This being a 65 model year, it lines up with having that. Because you could get this grill later and then put it on the older ones. So yeah, it was replaced by the 1550. And you could get them in the Cockschutz. In 1966, the newer Cockschutz were painted sumac red and white, and before that was a red belly and cream top. And that was because the story, if you look at the story on the somewhere in my other videos, the tour, I think it was the 66 one. Cockshutt made implements and stuff. They didn't have tractors, so they contracted Oliver to make tractors for them in the 60s and 70s. Not in the years, the Oliver model 60 and 70, they had Cockshutts. Then then Cockshutt came out with their Cockshutt 30, their own tractor design. They came out with more of them and decided we don't need Oliver anymore. So then Oliver wanted to keep selling in Canada, so they contracted with Goodison, John Goodison, and they would sell in Canada. Well, then later on, so there'd be no Fleetlines or Supers in Cockshutt. And then why was there these later? Because White bought Cockshutt in 62, and White also bought Oliver in 60, and bought Minneapolis Moline in 63. And this tapered nameplate came from the Cockshutts. And instead of keeping Cockshutt tractors going, the models that they had, like the 20, 30, 40, 50, and then they had newer ones, 570, I think is where this tapered nameplate came from. So you're like, well, we're gonna just have Oliver build the tractors and we'll paint them red, call them Cockshutts. So it's kind of like karma came back to Cockshutt, because they made their own tractors and they told Oliver, we don't need you anymore. And then later on, they got rolled into White, and Oliver made them for him again. Do you like Oliver tractors and equipment? If so, you can show me support by hitting that thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't like it. Leave a comment. Consider subscribing. It's free. YouTube will notify you when I release a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.